Now after this, we will learn regarding the provisions of the recently enacted the Consumer Protection Act 2019. This Act of 2019 has replaced the previous Consumer Protection Act of the year 1986. So as I told you in the beginning, the Consumer Protection Act of 2019 has recently replaced the 3-decade-old Consumer Protection Act of the year 1986. The Consumer Protection Bill 2019 has been passed by the Lok Sabha on July 30, 2019 and by the Rajya Sabha on August 6, 2019. The bill was introduced in the Parliament by the Minister of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Mr. Ram Vilas Paswan. The Act extends to the whole of India except the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. The Consumer Protection Act recognizes 6 consumer rights as originally defined in the previous Act of 1986. So the new Act defines 6 rights which were originally defined in the previous Act of 1986. Now the definition of consumer as per the new Consumer Protection Act 2019. The definition is quite same to the definition we learnt earlier. So the consumer is any person who buys any goods for which he has paid, or he is any person who hires or avails of any service for which he has paid. But the consumer does not include a person who obtains such goods for resale or avails any service for any commercial purpose. So a consumer is any person who buys any goods or avails any service for which he has made the payment. But the consumer is not a person who gets the goods for resale or avails any service for the commercial use. Here the expressions buys any goods or hires or avails any service includes offline as well as online transactions through any electronic means or by teleshopping or by direct selling or multi-level marketing. So first time this new law has included both online as well as offline transactions for buying goods or for availing services. Now the different consumer rights defined in the Consumer Protection Act 2019. First, the right to be protected against marketing of the goods, products or services which are hazardous to life and property. Then the second right, the right to be informed about the quality, quantity, potency, purity, standard and price of goods, products or services as the case may be, so as to protect the consumer against unfair trade practices. So the right to be informed about the quality, quantity, potency, purity and price of the goods and services. Then the third right, the right to be assured wherever possible access to a variety of goods, products or services at competitive prices. That is the right to be assured to have access to variety of goods. Then the fourth right, the right to be heard and to be assured that the consumer's interest will receive due consideration at appropriate forums. Then the fifth right, the right to seek redressal against unfair trade practice or restrictive trade practices or unscrupulous exploitation of the consumers. So the right to seek redressal against unfair trade practices or against the unscrupulous exploitation of the consumers. Then the last right, that is the right to consumer awareness, that is the consumer education. So the new act defines 6 consumer rights which were originally defined in the old Consumer Protection Act of the year 1986.